Good morning. This is Dr. Neerukonda Viswasarao, lecturer in English of SVKP Degree College, Markapur. Today, we want to discuss an important topic of tenses. Tenses is very important topic English grammar. However, there are so many topics are there in English like articles, prepositions, correction of the following sentences, active voice, passive voice, degrees of comparison, simple compound complex. There are so many topics are there in English language. But tenses is very important among all the topics. However, we see we have so many parts in our body. We have two eyes, two hands, two legs. Without hands, we can live in the society. Without hands also, without legs also, we can live in the society. Even without eyes also, we can live on survival in the society. But without heart, you see, the important topic in the human body, the heart. However, the importance, the heart in the human body, likewise, the topic tenses is very important in the garden of English grammar. That's why we essentially learn the English grammar perfectly. That's why today in this class I want to explain the topic tenses. First of all, the word tense is derived from the Latin word tempus. The meaning of tempus is time. So automatically the meaning of tense is also a time. You see, we go for the definition of tense. Tense means an action. Once again we have to see the word of tense. Tense tells us about an action, the time of an action and the degree of its completeness. Once again please, tense tells us about the time of an action and the degree of its completeness. That means the time of an action means an action continuing in which time. That is what we know. And the status of the time, the status of the action, these both are combinating tells us about the tense. Basically, in English grammar, tenses are three types. They are present tense, past tense, and future tense. One by one we have to go clarify. First of all, the present tense. What is the present tense? The present tense tells us about an action which is done at the present time. Once again please, present tense tells us about an action which is done at the present time. That means an action is going on in the present time. We go for example, Raju goes to college is an example of present tense. Then go for the past tense. The definition of the past tense is an action which was completed, which was done in the past time. That means action has already over. That is called past tense. That means we go for example, Raju went to college. In the first sentences we use Raju goes to college. In here we use Raju went to college. That means this is the action is over. Third one is the future tense. The future tense explains about an action which will be take place in the future. That means not in the present, not in the past. The action will be in the future. That is called future tense. We go for example, Raju will go to college. Will go. That means here in the first present tense we have to use V1, just only go. And in the second tense, past tense, we use V2, that means went. But whereas in the third one, not go and not went, it is will go. That means first form adding will or shall. I mean will go or shall go. One by one we go for clarify. Again, the each tense clarify or classified into 4 types. For suppose we go for the present tense, it classified into 4 ones. That is simple present tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. Likewise, past tense also simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. Likewise, the third one is also the same: simple future tense, future perfect tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. Now we go for one by one in detail. The first one is, as we said in the beginning, simple present tense. We want to clarify very clearly the simple present tense. What is simple present tense? Actually, it is very simple. Simple present tense looks like very simple. That means simple present tense means it is also tells us about, indefinite tense. Simple present tense is also denoted indefinite tense, because in the simple present tense it is unable to explain whether the action is complete or not. Yes, it is not guarantee, not compulsory. That's why it is called indefinite tense, not definite. However, we go for a small example. Last example we go for Raju goes to college. What is the meaning? Raju is going to college? No, not at all. Raju went to college? No. Raju goes to college means Raju is not going to college. Raju not went to college. Just it is a statement, that's all. That's why it is indefinite. The verb here is unable to explain whether the action is complete or not. That's why it is called indefinite tense. Understand? Why it is indefinite tense? Because here the verb is unable to explain whether the action is complete or not. That's why it is called indefinite tense. Yeah, we go for the definition of simple present tense. The structure. You see, every tense has its own structure. We go for the simple one. Simple present tense means, subject plus help, V1, subject plus V1 plus object. You see one thing, persons. First of all, we go for before the tenses. Just I want to explain about the persons. We have 3 persons. First person, singular and plural. Second person, singular, plural. And third person the same. I, first person singular. We, first person plural. You, second person singular. As usual, you is also the second person plural. He, she, it is the third person singular. They is the plural of the third person. Because they are very useful here. Come here. Simple present tense. Subject plus V1 plus object. Yes. But not always it is possible. It is not possible always. Because of, if the subject is third person singular number, that means he, she, it, verb takes yes or es. That's all. For suppose you see, come to the example, I go to college. Here I have to use go verb only, not yes, not goes for not go. So here only I go to college. But whereas the second sentence is third person singular number, when I use Lata goes to church every Sunday. Here instead of go, I have to use goes. Why? Because in the first sentences I is the first person, that's why I use only the V1 go. But whereas in these sentences subject is third person singular number Lata. That's why the verb takes s or es, so that I have to use goes. Understand? So Lata goes to college every day. Okay? Yeah. Come to the next one. Simple present tense clues. So many clues are there in the every tense. We go for simple present tense: every day, always, rarely, regularly, usually, often. So many are there, but these are very, very important clues. Whenever we see this kind of the clue in every sentences, automatically we have to recognize the structure of the sentences. That means subject plus V1 plus object. For example, an example is given. You see, a small example, Raju dash bracket read the Bible every morning. Understand my boys? Raju dash bracket read the Bible every morning. Whenever you see the adjective every morning, adverb, every morning, always, already I told you, always, rarely, regularly, usually, often, these are all the clues already I told you. That's why here the clue is every day. Every day is the clue of simple present tense. That's why Raju, you see, don't confuse it. Raju read the Bible. No. Here, because of Raju is the third person singular number. That's why Raju reads the Bible every day or every morning. Why you have to use here yes to the read? Because of he is the third person singular number. Raju is the third person singular number. Understand? For suppose in the same sentences, instead of Raju, I is used there. Instead of Raju, for suppose, I is used there. What is the meaning here? What is the answer? I read the Bible every morning. So, I is the first person, so that I read the Bible every morning. Raju is the third person singular number. That's why Raju reads the Bible every morning. Clarify, my friends? Hello, boys? Okay. Then, uses of simple present tense. There are so many uses of in the simple present tense. First one we go for simple present tense is always used for universal truths or universal facts. You see, so many things are there. All the sentences are not depends on the clues. Some words are not depends on the clues. Even it is a statement. Even it is a what it is called just before universal truths or universal facts, automatically they set into simple present tense. Example we go, the sun rises in the east. No clue is there. No adverb is there. Even though no adverb is there, we have to understand the statement is universal truth. The statement is universal fact. Without taking of any help, we have to conclude that the sentences is in the simple present tense. Likewise, so many sentences are there. The earth revolves around the sun. The earth revolves around the sun. So revolve is the V1. Okay, earth is third person singular number. So revolves adds S or yes. That's why the earth revolves around the sun. So the first statement is universal truths. Go for the second one. Habitual actions. You know, everyone as being as a human being, we all have so many habits. But whatever your habit, it is definitely expressed in simple present tense. Of course, your habit is in the present, your habit is in the past, your habit is in the future. Whatever the habit it is you want to say, that must be expressed in simple present tense. For suppose I have a habit daily, every morning whenever I wake up, I take a cup of coffee. So however I say, it should be expressed in simple present tense. That means I take a cup of coffee. I subject take V1, cup of coffee is object. So no adds es or es adding here. No s or es. Why? Because here what the subject I used, I is not the third person singular number. For suppose you go for the subject, another subject, Kishore. You see, use the same sentences. Kishore takes a cup of coffee every morning. So here the verb adds yes. Why? Because Kishore is not the first person, not the second person, not the third person plural form. It is absolutely the third person singular form. That's why Kishore, whenever the subject is the Kishore, automatically the verb takes yes or yes. Likewise, all our habitual actions, For suppose Mohan goes to church every Sunday. Yes, it is his habit. Okay. Another habit is there. Another one, you have your habit, you have your habit. Every habit, like you and me, they must be, if it is an habitual action, it should be expressing simple present tense. Then we go for the third one is proverbs and statements. Proverbs, so many proverbs are, our forefathers, our ancestors always says that so many proverbs for our well-wishers, for our lively sake. So many. Our friend says that, my father says that honesty is the best policy. My father always says to me, honesty is the best policy. My friend always says to me, slow and steady wins the race. They are all the proverbs and statements. They don't have any clues. If the sentence is the statement, if the sentence is the proverb, if the sentence is the, proverbs or maximums, they should be expressed in simple present tense 100%. Okay, understand my students? Yeah, we go for some examples in the particular task. Okay, you see, the first one is for suppose mother dash cook food for us. You see, in the sentences there is no clue generally. Mother dash cook food for us. Do you find any clue here? No clue. But you have to understand the simple present tense statement. First point is already we say the statement. This is the sentences is the statement. Mother cook food for us. No, it is wrong, because mother is the third person singular number. Mother cooks food for us. That means it is the statement. All the statements are expressed in simple present tense. Then immediately we come across the structure of simple present tense: subject plus V1 plus object. According to the subject, the answer is subject plus V1 plus object. The answer is mother cook food for us. But according to the second rule, if the subject is third person singular number, verb automatically verb takes S or S. According to based on that rule, mother is the third person singular number. That's why mother cooks food for us. Understand? So many examples are there. Just we go for the second one, friends. Listen very careful. The second one is present continuous tense. What is the meaning of the present continuous tense? Present continuous tense means, you see, in the first one, simple present tense,